All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome aboard our quarterly complimentary full throttle training. That's how you start full throttle training. How many of you just made $1,000 in 9 minutes? Men lie, trades don't. This is how we do it at Top Gun Options, folks. Let me go show you what I did. If it wasn't for you right now, I'd be done for the day. I woke up full of gratitude, did my morning meditation, took my microdoses. Susie and my beautiful bride and I just got back from hot yoga, and now I'm with you. I just made $1,000. We put on, well, and I'll show you in our member area. I just sent this alert out. Here you go, right here. New S&P 500 bull put spread, right there. I fired it for $1.40 credit. 9 minutes later, out 50%, $1,000. This ain't hard. This ain't rocket surgery, right there, folks. There was a bull put spread. 9 minutes later, fired to get out of it right about here, and the market turned. That wasn't hard. And if you have, first of all, welcome aboard. If you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, I just showed you that you can make $1,000 in 9 minutes. And if I wasn't starting this webinar, I probably would have shot a bear call spread right there to make a couple $100, and I'd be done for the day. So that's how you start full throttle training here at Top Gun Options. Okay, hey, welcome aboard. A lot of folks registered. Let me go see what our current update count is. Let me refresh the page. Let's see. Right there, event reporting, 490. Wow. Usually it's a couple hundred, right? If you go to any of these other financial folks training events, you'll see like 70, 80 people, or if that, that's good. We have 490 people registered right now, and that's climbing. 15 of you are going to join full throttle. I'm done doing the 20. Hell, we used to do 50 years ago. Man, 50, right around the COVID crash, I'm like, whoa, 25. Now we're down to 15. I got 20 day jobs. I love making money and teaching people how to make money, but you're going to learn today about some of the other things that I do here. So only 15 out of 490 people are going to get full throttle memberships, and I'll tell you how to join here in a little bit. If you're not subscribed, I'm simulcasting this on YouTube right now, but subscribe. Let me give you this link in the chat box. Go sign up for to our YouTube channel. Okay. I'm really excited that I read through some of my old journals and training manuals and did what I did. What are we on? We're on year 16 of Top Gun Options. Like years ago, I did like a welcome aboard video. Instead of spending, 20, 30 minutes today telling you who I am and my background and all sorts of stuff like that, I shot that yesterday afternoon. It is freezing down here in South Florida. Please pray for us. It was 32, 34 degrees this morning. Shot that on a cold Sunday, and it's kind of evergreen right now. My background, what I do, what Top Gun Options is. So if you did not watch this welcome aboard video, you're already failing here. So I actually posted that on the replay page too. If you got to leave early, you can't make tomorrow or Wednesday, this is the page where you can join us, or I'm sorry, you can watch the replays. The welcome aboard brief is up here. Once this brief is done, I'm going to stretch my legs, grab some coffee. I'll put today's replay up here, and this one will slide down to here, okay? And then everything on this page is where you can join, all the information when you scroll down. So that's the replay page, okay? Welcome back, Christina. Great to see you. Hey, Joe. Good to see you all too. Really excited for this week. The good thing about being at Top Gun Options is I can audible, man. I completely changed what we're going to do this morning to what we were going to do Wednesday because of some news that came out this morning and some intel that I got over the weekend. So I love shucking and jiving with the overall market here. Okay. Okay. So covered the YouTube channel. Or let me go back. I think I got some PowerPoint slides to cover. Yeah, I'm going to swap around Wednesday. We're going to do today what we are going to do tomorrow. Just because of some stuff that we'll cover in a little bit. Already told you 15. If we get to 15 today, I'll still do the rest of the week, the free briefs, but we won't have any more memberships. So 15 memberships. We'll close the door to membership, but I'll keep doing the briefs. Already showed you the replay page. Why should you listen to me? First of all, hopefully you watched the welcome aboard video, but again, men lie, trades don't. My model portfolio, my personal portfolio is up over 30%, especially with today's rip in a month. In 1 month, folks. I've been on Wall Street. If a hedge fund made 30% return in 1 month, they would close it. They shut it for the next 11 months and go party. 30% in a month, folks, is obscene. Okay. Now, I'm not promising I'm going to do that every month, but let's just say I do that often. But and again, you can go on the homepage. You can look at all my trades. I post my e-trade statements on there so you can see all of my trades. But let's just do math. I'm a political science major from South Jersey. If you annualize, if I do 30% a month, which I've done in the past, I've done a hell of a lot more than 30% a month. But anyway, let's just say I average a 30% return each month. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that. If you invested $100 on January 1st, the day after my birthday, you'd have $2,300 in a year. How many of you would invest $100 today to make over $2,300? Or look at it this way, a 360% return in a year. Look at the S&P 500. If you did that bull put spread, folks, close it. Men, wait a minute. I didn't get, where's my closing order? Sorry, I didn't close this trade. Now I'm going to close it for $1,300. I had an order. You know what? I don't think I pressed send. All right. I had an order. I thought I fired at 70. God takes care of fools, drunks, and sailors. I didn't make $1,000. I'm making 1,300. Thank you, God. As I'm sitting here, maybe I had the idea to close it at 70 because we started to turn here. And there we go. Now I'm out. I lied. Men do lie. Trades don't. There's $1,300 in 18 minutes. I'm sorry about that. My apologies. Anyway, back to this. That's 360% return in a year. Okay. So I love starting Full Throttle with half of your annual membership paid for. You're welcome. All right. Let me give you, and again, you should have watched the welcome aboard brief. So if you're like, man, I have no idea what this guy is doing, it's right there. Watch the welcome aboard brief to get up to speed. If you didn't watch it yet, stay in this brief and watch it afterwards. But you should feel like you're drinking from a fire hose this week for the next couple days. It should feel that way, right? Let me do this first. I'm gonna feel you guys out a little bit. Take a look at the poll and quiz that just popped up, because I want to grab some of my. I asked my beautiful bride for an iced coffee, and she puts it in my daughter's cheer cup. So thank you. So don't make fun of me. But it gives me an excuse to have a little iced coffee. Give me an answer to these questions. How familiar are you with Top Gun options? I'm comfortable with my sexuality. What's your market outlook for the next 3 months? And what's your current investing or trading knowledge? Man, I don't even know what a stock is. I kind of know what stocks are. I kind of know what options are. Fill that out real quick, because this gives me a little bit of where to go for the next couple days. This thing's like at a 90-degree angle. Okay. All right. So answer that real quick so I know how to train you all. All right. So let's take a look. I'll share this with you in a second. How familiar with Top Gun options? A couple folks are brand new, somewhat. Love that. Love the brand new, the somewhat. Previous members, this makes my heart smile. I'm going to lead with something that my marketing department hates me saying. I don't want you here forever. And I don't like saying that a businessman. But let's get rid of the marketing team and me being a businessman. As a flight instructor, folks, you don't go to Top Gun forever. You go, you get your ass kicked, you put on your flowing robe, get your patch, and you go back to the fleet. So it's funny, people, spend a year, 2 years here or whatever. They go back to the fleet, and then years later they come back and they're like, you know what, man, I missed the briefs, I missed the trades and stuff like that. So previous members, welcome back. Current members, obviously you're in a live trade brief. What's your current volatile? Love that. And we have some folks that are brand new. All right, let me end this poll and I'll share it with you so everybody can see the answers here. Good stuff. All right. Like that. Look at that, folks. Here's what makes a market. Look at question 2. 21% are bullish, which means they think the market's going to go up in the next 90 days. 10% are bearish. 63% are volatile, meaning we're going to be seeing whipsaws. Neutral means we're kind of trading sideways. That's interesting. And then the vast majority of folks know stuff. To the 2% that really are new to trading and investing, welcome. The program called Options Weapon School is designed to get you up to speed very, very quickly. So don't sit here and go, oh, great, I'm in the 2% that are brand new to this. Man, I actually was born the world's greatest fighter pilot. I wasn't born the world's greatest investor and trader. I had to learn, man. I'm kidding. When I drove through the gates of Pensacola Naval Air Station, I barely knew what an airplane was. So Options Weapon School is designed to get those folks up to speed very quickly. Okay, let me close the polls there. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead. I'm going to give you a quick strategic brief, just like I covered in the Welcome Aboard video. SOT, strategic, operational, tactical. When I pick up my binoculars today, what am I caring about? Last week, I briefed you on this. Xi clipped a ton of his generals, like his, I guess not his best friend, his like chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff that has been with him since like Mao was living. He clipped him. Potential nefariousness to the party. Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't good. My current members know exactly what I'm going to say. I briefed you on this whenever it was, 4 or 5 years ago. Xi Jinping gave a date. He dressed in his Mao suit, the green thing, and gave a speech to the People's Liberation heavies and said, what? You will be ready to invade Taiwan by what date? 2027. What is it? 2026. Trump's going to have to deal with this. I don't care how many times Trump's is like, we're going to have a great deal with China. Love Xi. Great backswing. Been to Mar-a-Lago. Love the guy. What are we going to do? I shared with my members the war games that we did last summer, or whenever it was. We lost a carrier, folks. Another one almost sunk. We lost Guam. We lost Okinawa. 100,000 U.S. troops killed. If we decide that we're going to fight for or with Taiwan, what do you think the market's going to do? You think the COVID market crash was bad, or the financial crisis? The majority of the world semiconductors are in Taiwan. The volatility index will spike. World markets will tumble. And if you're not at Top Gun Options, you're not going to know how to profit off that. So that's on my radar. There's my boat. It puts a smile on my face to see the USS Abraham Lincoln CVN 72. I have over 200 traps aboard her, landings. I'm a night centurion. I've landed on that thing over 100 times at night. Terrifying. I'd throw my own mother in the cockpit to go do that. What are we going to do? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. And here they go again. Iran unveils more deep underground missile tunnels, warns they can close the Strait of Hormuz. I can talk about this because I'm old. I'm old now. When I did this, I was a young lieutenant. I was a carrier strike lead. I was an air wing strike lead. I was prepared to lead about 30 aircraft on a deep strike into Iran to take out a mine factory. In my presentation that I gave, I put up a joke. It was a mime factory. You had to be there. When we attacked them last time with Operation Midnight Hammer, they said the same things. If they truly did put a bunch of mines across the Strait of Hormuz, oil would go to $300, folks, and world markets would implode. They didn't do it last time. And I can guarantee you, my good buddy, Raisin Kane, General Dan Kane, who I've known for 23 years, 24, over 2 decades, that's probably on their targeting list. But again, breaking news, you see it and your phone's buzzing, markets might care. You're gonna learn some wizisms. One of them is the market only cares when it cares. It don't care right now. Look at the S&P 500. Now we're all the way up to here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you shot that bull put spread at the open this morning, I shot that to, what was it? Where'd my orders go? What the hell's going on here, man? All right, whatever. I shot that trade at $1.40. That is probably priced right now at about 30 cents based on this rip. You are up, if you stayed in the trade, about $3,000. I'm sorry, $2,000. Okay. So look at that rip. If you stayed in the bull put spread, and I'm going to teach you this, folks, the S&P 500 moves in $25 increments. What did it do? It opened at a 25, 69.25. It went up to 69.50, hovered for a second, and ripped up to the next one. The S&P 500 moves in 25 increments. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. If you stayed in the bull put spread that I shot, you made over $2,000. You're welcome. Okay. What time did I open this room, Skip? At 10 a.m. Or actually, I opened the room at 9:58, 2 minutes early, so you can read the disclaimer. Okay, let's keep moving. Let me get rid of that one. Last week, what happened? A boring Fed meeting where Jerome Powell ignored every political question about going to the Supreme Court to support the lady a Fed governor who clearly broke the law and committed mortgage fraud. But this is the first time since July that they sat on their hands. What happened also last week? Kevin Warsh. In Jersey, that's how we used to say Washington. Wash your hands. Trump picks Kevin Warsh. He's a dove, folks. He is free money. Get ready for the crack pipe. If you know, Trump can't stand Jerome Powell. The Department of Justice sent a bunch of letters to Powell a couple weeks ago, poking around, looking for potential perjury or other charges potentially about the Fed building. Do you know that the Fed building, the redesign or the reconstruction of it, like is in $1 billion of cost overruns? The No Fallen Heroes Foundation can't get a dime. We applied for the Gordon R. Fox Veteran Suicide Grant, $75 million in that thing. We didn't get a penny. But the Fed building, it's $1 billion. Stop and look at this. Not only do I have tears in my eyes because I get to see the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Wall Street Journal. Look at that. Stocks could go on a sugar high, and we have an F-18 Hornet. Makes my heart smile. Doesn't make my heart smile while it's out there. Yeah, isn't it funny that the Fed's supposed to be some independent agency? Well, pay for it yourself, Fed. Oh, well, no, we need money from taxpayers. Oh, then you should report to somebody. But apparently you're some fourth branch of government. I guarantee you Benjamin and Thomas and George would flip their wigs if they knew about a fourth branch of government that's accountable to nobody. Don't get me started. So Kevin Warsh, Dove, Donald Trump, tax cuts, one big beautiful bill. We're going to rip. I briefed you all last week on the sophomore slump. Since 1960, John F. Kennedy, every president's second year in office sucks. The market implodes. It's also midterms, right? Here comes the Democrats with impeachments for all my friends. The president, Noam, Hegseth, you name it. So can Donald Trump this year ignore all that? will he, if anybody can buck the trend, it'll be Donald Trump. We'll talk about that as well this week. Never Ed Dowd, man. He was a huge money manager. I followed Ed Dowd for a while. Gave a great interview the other day. Never seen risk like this before in my career. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watch that video, the welcome aboard, you know, in 2008, I was at ground zero. I was in the Board of Trade. I was in the Chicago Board Options Exchange. I ran from the CBOT over to the CBO to the VIX pit to watch the VIX hit like, what did top out at? 92 or over 90, I think. But ladies and gentlemen, sugar high is the key word, right? But do we have room to run? Okay, the Dow, I think, is down for the third week in a row. This is the S&P 500, folks, and it's doing the inchworm up here, isn't it? Run, implode to the 20 or 50-day moving average. Run 20 or 50. Oh, AI freak out. Run to the 20 or 50. Run to the 20, run to the 20 or 50. Run. Now, these oscillations are getting tighter and smaller and tighter and smaller. The biggest thing on the radar this week, in my opinion, is Amazon earnings on Thursday after market close. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. I have a bunch of bullish trades on Amazon on. Let's just pull that up real quick. Look at Amazon's last earnings report. Right here. See that E? That stands for earnings. We had a little bit of a run into the earnings report. It sold off like the day before. I'm like, whoa, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. I think Amazon's going to have really good earnings. Well, let's smash it. We had a good run. Let's take profit. Folks, they reported and they had a 6 sigma beat, a like 6 standard deviation beat. If this didn't happen, we'd be like up here on Amazon. What was that, Wiz? It was another AI freak out. It seems like every 60 to 90 days we have it's all vaporware. It's all fake. It's a Ponzi scheme and the market pulls back. They buy the dip and then we go higher. I'm pretty damn sure Amazon's going to do good this week, but that's the biggest thing on my radar. All right, let's move. We got to hustle. Why did we pull back a little bit last week? Microsoft, kind of holy crap tech sell-off. I'll never call it Meta, even though I just did. Facebook. Why do I not call it Meta? Because Zuckerberg's an idiot. He spent what are the most recent numbers? 25 to 50 billion on the metaverse. Do you remember that stupid thing? Wait, so you're going to put on these really expensive, heavy goggles and sit on the couch, and you have like a Weeblo body, and you kind of can walk into a fake virtual bar and see other fake virtual people. I was like, what? There's this really cool thing that God made called the universe, where you can like take these things off and get off your couch. I told you to pound that shit into the dirt. Now it's obviously recovered because of AI, but so Facebook blasted last week as Microsoft sold off. That's the funny thing. Okay, let's keep going because we have to trade. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. Raytheon. Did you not get long-term bullish on Raytheon when I told you? And then just what came out the other day, 6.667 billion. Oh my God. Did you see Donald J. Trump last month? I don't want $1 trillion defense budget. That's stupid. 1.5 trillion. Double it. Raytheon to the moon. Sell your wife and kids, mortgage the house, buy Raytheon. If you bought Raytheon when I told you, you're up probably close to 1,000% in the options. Okay. Speaking of Amazon, we'll save this to Wednesday, but folks, they are gutting employees. I told you months ago that they're getting their plans are by 2030 to get rid of 500,000 workers. I told you years ago, when was that, 2010? I did consulting down at a Amazon fulfillment center south of Miami International. And even back then, the robots were kind of zipping around. I'm like, ooh, they're gone. I've seen Amazon fulfillment centers now, folks. Open the door. It's a football field of, you ready for this? Darkness. There ain't a light on in the place. The robots don't need light. They move, they grab product. It's obscene. Now, as a human, I'm mortified. I'm terrified. I told you last week I was walking around my neighborhood. Lady pulled up in a broken down car, got out with a blue vest on, dropped the package at somebody's garage, took the picture, got in her jalopy and left. I'm like, look at Amazon using the Uber thing to make delivery drivers. They'll be gone. Those humans will be gone too. It'll be drones. It'll be an electric car with no driver in it, and it'll be an automated robot. My daughter's going to Ole Miss. On the Ole Miss campus, they have the four-wheel things, the little Scooby-Doo robots that go and deliver Chick-fil-A to the students. So now, having said all of that, as Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, as Jordan Belfort, I say good. Get rid of those humans. They complain. They want to unionize. They need to take a look. They want a retirement, and they need health care. Get rid of them. That goes to the bottom line, and I'm going to print money. I do print money. Now, I'm going to remind you that I feel so gross. I will take my microdoses too. I can't even act like that anymore. But again, if you want a friend, get a dog, as Gordon Gekko said in the movie Wall Street. If you want to learn how to make money, I'll do it. I'm here to help people when they get hammered like that. But here's what I want to do. All right, strategic, operational. Now we're going to get tactical, and we're going to trade. We've already traded. If you're in the, and look at what the S&P just did. I'm going to show you this so I can teach you all this stuff when you join. Up to the 25, I exited mine there. The people who stayed in, you could have exited up at this 25. That would have been a 95% profit at $2,100 for that bull put spread. Now you could shoot a bear call spread, because I think a good 0.5% run is up for the day. And folks, this is called amateur hour. 9:30 to 10:30 is amateur hour. You're going to see this stuff, and then the market tends to settle and then find its way for the rest of the day. So I'd be done. I'd be done to $2,100 bull put spread on this morning, and you're done for the day. What's $2,100, folks? If you did one of my snipers a day, 2,100 times 252 trading days, that's $500,000. Let's say you do the $1,300 that I did, and I do that like clockwork. 1,300 times 252 trading days is 330 grand. You're welcome. Okay, so here we go. I want to make an audible because this article that came out, I blasted it out to my members. Here's what our member area looks like, right? We have an intel and commentary thread. Psychedelic space at a tipping point as Compass and Definium gear up to file approval. Somebody just told me that Definium's popping right now. One of the reasons it's popping is because of this type of great coverage. Biospace is a big biotech blog and stuff like that. This came out this morning, cup of coffee. I'm like, oh, I'm audibling. We're covering this. Look at the headline: psychedelic space at a tipping point. Now, if you have no idea this dude's talking about psychedelics, you failed so far because you didn't watch the Welcome Aboard brief. Yes, psychedelic-assisted therapy saved my life. It changed the path of my life. I was about to get into my rant and tell you all about it. I'm not, because let's just talk about this. But it did. So what happened last year under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? I don't even want to. First of all, that all makes my skin crawl. Rick Doblin, MAPS, Lycos, went with MDMA. I'll never forget sitting with Rick Doblin in Congresswoman Kay Granger's office with Chief of Staff, and I gave my pitch as a veteran, and I talked about Ibogaine and getting my ass kicked for 14 hours, and and Rick went and gave his pitch about MDMA, and I'll never forget the Chief of Staff looking at us going, why aren't you leading with that first? And he was pointing at me. And I was like, Rick's been doing this for 30 years. So and Rick's like, well, you guys the government outlawed MDMA in 1985. It's the most recent one, you guys clipped. So we just blew the dust off everything and we're resubmitting. That should have been a warning right there. So when Rick Doblin, it's called Lycos, MAPS and Lycos went to the FDA. Ladies and gentlemen, the FDA is what? The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Lycos went with MDMA with what? Not only do you take this pill, but you're going to lay on the couch for 8 hours and we're going to do psychotherapy. We're going to talk and we're going to have integration. And the FDA is like, we are FDA. What does couch mean? Couch does not compute. What do you talk to people? What are you talking about? We're talking about what's the dosage, body weight, what's the side effects, next application. But the FDA AdCom, the advisory committee, also had 11 people, when you read their bios, with ties to Big Pharma. When this happened, August of 2 years ago, what did I call it? Speaking of NASA going back to the moon, I called it a successful failure. I'm actually glad MDMA got booted by the FDA. It was a successful failure because the CEO of MindMed, now called Definium, said what about MM120, which we're going to talk about. He's like, he went out of his way in his earnings or report about the phase 2 trials. He's like, ain't no couch, ain't no psychotherapy. This is a single dose of, LSD type of thing. And we saw a 80% reduction in, Madger scores or whatever. Yeah, I can give you the link to this. So guess what? And I failed, folks. When I was going to DC under the Democrats, the administration, I got it wrong. I thought they were already there. Man, Democrats, peace, love, mala beads, anti-war, yay psychedelics. Wrong. They are pro-big pharma. You take that untested COVID shot, stick it in your arm, and if you don't, we're going to get you fired. And we're pro-war. Ukraine. But I'm like, what the hell happened to you people? It's the Republicans that were like, I'm anti-drug, but you said Navy SEAL, Navy fighter pilot, Ranger, you guys said this saved and changed your life. Let's look into it. What a difference literally a day can make. So here's what I'm getting at. And you guys know, and I've been very critical of RFK. He said, I want psychedelics in the hands of veterans in the next 12 months. You got 5 months left. Top federal drug official touts therapeutic promise of psychedelics and slams Schedule 1 research barriers. We're getting there. This was a great article. One trip can change your life. Psychedelics, genetics, and rewiring your brain. What's this one? This is Ibogaine. A dreamlike psychedelic might help traumatized veterans reset their brains. Bipartisan, this was last week. Bipartisan congressional lawmakers file a bill directing the VA to psychedelics. So this is the year, ladies and gentlemen, right? And I'm so glad Politico had this article last week. The psychedelic revolution, that wasn't. RFK was really bullish. They're still waiting. I love this. Well, that's bad news, Wiz. No, it ain't. That's a great headline for our movement. The FDA commissioner, around the time that I met with Secretary Collins, said, quote, psychedelics are a top priority for this administration. So unless they're all lying, which they could be, that's a threat to all of this. This is coming. It's not soon enough for me based on how many veterans take their lives every day. But let's go back to this because I'm going to step through commit criteria, right? After a false start with MDMA, Compass and Definium are nearing the regulatory finish line and preparing to move from psychedelics to commercial. There's your commit criteria, step 3 of our proprietary trade plan. This is a very big year for psychedelics. It's the biggest year from what? A clinical data standpoint. Now, for those of you that were here in 2022, when I came back from the Miami Psychedelic Conference, Capital Conference, and said, buy them all. What happened in 2022? A Joe Biden bear market. The S&P 500 went down 25%. Oh, what happened to psychedelics, Wiz? What happened to psychedelics, Wiz, was everything got hammered in the Joe Biden bear market. Do you not remember? Hold on, 5 year. 2022. Let's show you the Joe Biden bear market. Right there, folks. That was the Miami Psychedelic Capital Conference. And I came home, bought everything with both hands. And thanks, Joe. So everything got hammered, especially people who had money in psychedelics going, these are my lottery tickets. Margin call on your Amazon stock. Oh shit, I got to dump my, play money type of stuff. So don't give me any of the, this is big. Okay. Let's keep going. With multiple late-state data readouts and a regulatory catalyst in 2026, we believe our coverage is well-positioned to translate from what? Wiz 2022 speculative to clinical validation, to a large-scale market launch. He wrote this note last week, a couple days ago. We got phase 3 data, Definium. It was MindMed. MM120 for GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, and MDD, major depressive disorder. The potential psychedelic space tipping point. Ladies and gentlemen, move on to Compass. Compass, multiple readouts this quarter. Sit up straight if you're not listening. Comp 360, what's it working on? TRD, treatment-resistant depression. Now, I'm a political science major from South Jersey. What does treatment-resistant mean? You can't fix it. Want to bet? So when I saw the initial results of this stuff, people are like, wait a minute, the word, so you can treat this. Yeah, that's exactly right. Now we're moving from a theoretical commercial debate to an executable launch scenario. I'm going to remind you that I will never share non-public private information, but I will tell you, and I told you this a year ago, that I know people in different companies who have said the FDA called us. I'm like, oh, that's not good. No. They called to say when. Let's go. And it's like we had to tell them, you can't force a 26-week, it's 26 weeks. We'll call you after. Oh, okay. Here's my number. And when you're done, put it in this inbox. So I love poking RFK and the Veterans Secretary a little bit, but I know what's going on. Wiz, I can't rush Compass and MindMed or Definium. Exactly. But I'm still going to pitchfork it and try and hurry it up. Compass is very likely to file for approval of Comp 360 third quarter. Sit up straight. And then, so by 2027, the reality that MM120 and Comp 360, Definium and Compass are going to be approved. Ladies and gentlemen, you are reading a hedge fund biotech report that says, with a high degree of certainty, I'm not going to say 100. You guys know my story from Chicago. The guy that got around our risk management. You weren't allowed to trade biotechs in our firm. Alt, execute, I'm going to do this trade. He lost $4 million in a minute on Immunogen. As I was walking him out after we fired him immediately, he's like, first of all, Wiz, it's not my money. It was my money as a limited partner. And he said, bro, past phase 1, past phase 2, I had a little birdie tell me it was going to pass phase 3, and it didn't, because it was breaking news that morning. Like, breaking news, Immunogen phase 3 trial failed, and the stock went down 80% in a minute. So I will never say either one of these things will happen. I will say there is a high probability, right? So I'm not going to, you guys can read this on your own. Let me remind you, and I told you this last week, Spravato, the S-ketamine, the nasal S-ketamine, folks, is now official. Did you see the $1.5 billion product? One product for Johnson & Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Are you insane? And you guys know as well as I do that there's no way in hell Pfizer, Moderna, Eli Lilly, they're sitting in their headquarters right now looking at these headlines going, no, let's just let these crazy small psychedelic companies heal people. One of two things is going to happen. And I do guarantee this. They're going to buy them. They're going to swoop in because they have the cash, because they have customers. They don't heal anybody. They have recurring revenue, and they will buy these names and they will spike. The second thing that I think is going to happen is what? Some of them might put them on a shelf. I don't want that to happen. But guess what? Healing's free, folks. Reach me offline. There's your commit criteria. That is step 3 of our trade plan, why we're going to get long-term bullish on both these names. And I'm going to do it right now. All right. If you know nothing about options, and again, you should feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. Look at my Definium position. I am up 292% in Definium, DFTX. Okay. I just put on this trade. I'm going to show you this exact trade last week on Compass. Glad I did, and it's already popping. So let's flip a coin. Let's start with Definium. DFTX. It's right there. Whoa. Look. Shit. Maybe I should have started the brief with this. Ladies and gentlemen, Definium is up 8% today. Wow. You're welcome. Look at this range. I told you if it pops out of 17, it's to the moon here. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 months ago, this was a $10 stock. $10 stock. Now, if you're sitting here going, well, some bitch, Wiz, I missed it. No, you didn't. If you bought Definium last month or 2 months ago, you're up 76% in the stock. Chumps trade stock. What do I mean? Wiz, I love it all. Your commit criteria is awesome. I'm going to buy 100 shares of Definium stock right now. You're an idiot. But if you did, you'd spend $1,800. Everybody got $1,800 just sitting around, right? In your couch. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Most people hold stock how long? This isn't your father and mother stock market where they buy shares of GM and put it in a shoebox in their closet. They don't even issue share certificates anymore. The average holding time is 12 months, 18 months or something like that. Benoit, I love it. Up 100% in your position. Look at that. So here's what we're going to do, folks. I'm going to teach you to trade options on the stock. 100 shares was $1,800. In the early 70s, folks, they came out with something called an option. You use options every day. Option to buy a house, an option to buy a car, option to buy a yacht, right? So one option contract equals 100 shares of stock. So here's what I'm going to show you. You can buy a single options contract. Let's hop in our time machine and fly all the way out into the future to January of 2028. They were talking approval in 2027. I'm going to give it even more time to run. Because if we get approval on that type of drug, I hate calling it a drug, I'll call it a medicine, it's going to rip even more. So I'm going out as far as I can on this. This is called an options chain. This is when that options contract, me controlling 100 shares, it's called expire, right? Contracts expire. There's usually an expiration date of the contract and there's a price. Let's talk through it. On the left side of your screen are calls, right? A call option. Usually calls, you're bullish. On the right side are called puts, the right to put the stock to somebody. Puts are sometimes bearish. Even if for the small percentage of people that don't know too much about this, you've probably heard somebody thinking they're smart at a cocktail party say, I hear the market's going down. I'm going to buy puts. So let's step through this real quick. Reminder that when you sign up today, you're going to get access to what's called Options Weapons School, where you're going to get an hour-and-a-half session on calls and puts. Remember drinking from the fire hose right now. So here we go. We are at $18.26, the stock right now, okay? When we look at the strikes, there's a 17 strike and a 20. So we're in between these two strike prices. So I will go what's called deeper in the money. Chris, that does not matter at all. That's why we have market makers. Market makers are required to make a market, right? And these options just came out. So I'm going to buy one options contract. I'm going to buy one January of 2028, years into the future, 17 call option. When you buy something, an options contract, buyers have rights. I bought this house, I have the right to the keys. I bought that car, I have the right to the keys. Buyers have rights, okay? I have the right to buy 100 shares of Definium at 17 bucks years into the future. What happens if, breaking news, January of 2027, MM120 is approved and Pfizer bought Definium for $1 billion. These call options will explode and you can sell it. You don't have to take delivery of 100 shares at 17 bucks in the future. Folks, in my options career, 95, 98% of options contracts are never exercised. You trade out of them, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, buying one Jan 2817 call will set you back $1,000. I just saved you $800. How much was buying the stock again? 100 shares? $1,823. Why would you spend $1,800 when you can buy the call options? You wouldn't. That's why I call chumps. I'm not done. I already told you that buying this call option is bullish, right? Somebody had to sell me that call option, by the way. That person would be bearish. They don't think it's going to zero, Wiz. That's dumb. Psychedelics are dumb. Okay. That's what makes a market. But somebody thinks this, somebody thinks that. But I'm not done. I told you a couple minutes ago that you heard at a cocktail party one time, somebody smart saying, I'm buying some puts. The market's going to go down. A put buyer is what? Bearish. They think something's going to go down. Okay. Well, somebody has to sell them that put. They would be bullish. Put buyer, something's going to go down. No, it ain't, dude. I'll sell you that put. A put seller is bullish. If you followed me for the past 3 minutes, welcome aboard Top Gun Option. I will tighten all of that stuff up in Options Weapon School. So let's sell this another one contract out to the same expiration, 17 put. How much will that cost me? $295. Why the silence? I want that to sink in. Would you rather spend $1,800 buying 100 shares of Definium right now, or would you rather spend $295? If you say 1,800, there's an X on the top right. Click it and leave because you have no idea what you're doing. If you'd rather spend $1,800 over 255, you're a fool. Okay? Now, this position is called synthetic stock. What does that mean? Well, I didn't buy the shares, so this is synthetically long the stock with options. Okay? This drawing right here is, if you had bought the stock, the one underneath it, the thinner line, is the options trade. Anybody see something? They're the exact same thing. Now, the smart people in the room looked here first and said, hey, Wiz, my max potential loss is like $1,900. Ladies and gentlemen, if you bought 100 shares, what's your max potential loss? Oh, yeah. Folks, the max potential loss is in the next 2.5, 3 years, Definium goes to what? Zero. Can it? Yeah, of course it can. Breaking news, MM120, Satan developed it in a lab and the company went out of business. That can happen. So the max potential loss, whether you buy the shares or do the options trade like it is right now, I'm not done, is $1,900. I'm not done, I just said. I never went flying in the F-18 Hornet without an ejection seat, man. I never climbed up the ladder and looked at the ejection seat and said, hey, Chief, pull the seat out. I want more gas. I'm not going to die today. That would have been the day that I died and wish I had an ejection seat. So at Top Gun Options, I'm going to buy a put underneath it in case something bad does happen, right? If you're new to trading, you've probably heard the term, hey, the S&P 500 is in a bear market right now. The classic definition of something being in a bear market is 20%. Breaking news, as of the open this morning, the Dow is down, whatever, it's in a bear market. So 20%, that's a good rule of thumb of bad, right? So how about we buy what I call a disaster or protective put 20% under the current stock price. What's that, about $4, $3? Let's go buy what would that be? 15, technically 13. Somebody do the math real quick. Whatever. 14, yeah. 12. So folks, you can either do a 12 or 15 disaster put. Okay. Now, look at what happened. The price of the trade went up a couple $100. Why? You're buying insurance. Smart. How many of you sit at your desk every month and write a check to State Farm and go, I'm losing so much money every month buying it. I don't even know I have insurance, folks, because it's on auto debit. You know when I remember I have insurance? When I get rear-ended by a blue hair in Boca Raton and go, okay, call USAA. So the cost of the trade went up a little bit, but my call sign's Wiz. Let me show you some wizardry I just did. What was the max potential loss in the synthetic stock, in the regular stock? $1,900. How about now? $1,200. I cut your risk down by about $700-800. If I do the 15 put, let's see what the 15 put would do. I cut it down by $800. Isn't that awesome? So ladies and gentlemen, for $960, I saved you $1,000 to get bullish on MindMed, Definium, years into the future. I'm going to put on my crystal ball and tell you, I mean, hell, folks, if we get positive phase 3 results in Q3 or whatever they said, you could wake up in June, 4th of July, happy 4th of July, breaking news, great phase 3 out of Definium. The stock is up 50% today. You will be printing money. Folks, we haven't gotten any of that type of news yet, and my position is currently up 295%. I think that's since the beginning of the year. It was, yeah, I did this trade when it was at $10, folks. This trade is 2 months old, and I'm up $3,200, 295%. Now, you could just do this. You could do nothing. You could do this, or let's get a little bit deeper. I'm cheap. I want somebody else, the market, to pay this $960. How can I do that? I'm going to show you. First thing, Dennis, 1000% not. I get that, Dennis. I shared with you last year a report on Oppenheimer. They said Definium is in the next, year, a $25 stock. Absolutely not chasing it. I tried to say that a little earlier, folks. You are not chasing this. Dennis, if in a year from now, Janssen comes in and buys Definium in an all-cash deal and the stock's up at 60, you're going to want to jump off the roof when you could have gotten long-term bullish at 18. Do not have FOMO. Does that make sense, right? Now, you could just do this, execute the trade and put it in a filing cabinet and don't look at it until you see like breaking news, blah, blah, blah. That makes sense. I'm cheap. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell. I'm going to go to the front month. For those that are new to options, what's the front month? You're sitting in the front month, February, March, April. So there's front months right now, and then there's years into the future. Like, let's go look at the options chain real quick. There's February, March, June, And then we kind of leap, it's called. These are called leaps into the future. But here's what I can do. I could sell a February upside call against this name. What did I tell you? Buyers, first of all, come out of pocket. Sellers get what? Paid. So look what just happened. If I sell a February 20 call against this position, I bring in $60. Look at, I lowered my cost basis down. I could sell a front month call against this name every month, and it whittles down the cost basis. Now, if you don't understand this, that's Options Weapon School Session 6. It's an hour. I take an hour to an hour and a half. Remember, in Full Throttle, folks, I move a little quicker. If we were in a regular member brief, I would have done 3 trades by now. Why? Because you already watched your synthetic stock training and you're kind of up to speed. And this is the practical application of your Options Weapon School training, which I'll show you in a couple minutes. Okay. So here's what I would do though. And I'm not going to click on my current position right now because it'll close this trade. But here's what I would do. I'd sell like 5, 5, 5. I'm sorry, synthetic stock 5 contracts, and maybe like 3 or 2 in the front month. Okay. Now you play with however many contracts you want, but this is called a ratio spread. Like the synthetic stock position, I would keep the same amount of contracts. Let me do 2, 2, and 2, and just kind of like 1 here. Okay. What does this do? Your profit target is unlimited, right? If breaking news happens tomorrow that Johnson & Johnson bought this name, you have unlimited profit. How does that happen? Let me show you this. You have 2 contracts that are long-term bullish years into the future. I'm only selling 1 against it out to February to bring in a little bit of coin. So let's say the good news does happen. Breaking news, Pfizer just bought Definium. The stock's going to rip. One of your short calls is going to be getting hammered a little bit, but don't worry about it because the other ones are to the moon, Alice. Do you understand this? Okay. Let me, before I dig into that a little bit more, because some people might not, I'm going to take a screenshot of this trade because I blast it out to my members. I'll show you how that works in a couple minutes as well. Okay. So during the live trade briefs, if you're sitting in death by meeting right now and you can't make the live trade brief, you're about to get a buzz on your cell phone on our app. We have an app that gives text alert, email alerts were like 2010, text alerts were 2015. Now we got an app and your phone, you get instantaneous. Because the email alerts took a couple minutes. The text alerts would take like a minute. Now the app alerts, boink, instantaneous. DFTX. So I'm taking screenshots of this trade to send out to you as a member. If you're not a member right now, you're not going to get it. Let me show you my current position. Because let me analyze it. So I'm risking 5, right? Risking $5,000. And look at this. The probability of me losing the $5,000 is 0.00. The odds of getting eaten by a golden retriever are never 0. So there's probably about 7 decimal points in a 1. Can Definium go to 0 in the next 3 years? Of course it can. Will it? Most likely not. But let me show you my trade. Look what I did. I have 10 contracts, long-term bullish synthetic stock. I sold half against them. Right? 5 times 60 cents. I'm bringing in $300 to help pay for the synthetic stock position, folks. If I did $300 every month, let's just do it. Let's 300 times 12 months, $3,600. I think my synthetic stock position cost about $3,000. If Definium never moves the entire year, the trade is paid off by somebody else. Now, I'm banking on, like the 8% move at the open today, I'm banking on Definium going up and to the right. So not only am I making money on the synthetic stock position going up, I make money on selling calls against it. One more, it's called Go Collab. It's KOLLAB. Let me just go demonstrate. Here we are. I'm going to go in the Hunters. You can join the Hunters today. It's one of our investment clubs. This is where I sent out the bull put spread this morning, right? Now, who are my smart TGO members who, when I said shoot a bear call spread, you did it? What did I tell you? What did I tell you right up here? If we were in a member brief, I would have shot one. I said you could shoot a bear call spread up here because we're probably going to fade. What did we do? You should have shot a bear call spread right there, and we started to fade. Is this hard? Is this hard? There's an entire weapon school training dedicated to options weapon school, folks. So, okay. But let me send out a trade alert right now and just demonstrate it. New, what was that? Jan 28, new Jan 28, DFTX, right? New, I'll put formerly MNMD, formerly MindMed. New Jan 28 DFTX, formerly MindMed, long-term bullish synthetic stock. Now, next thing I do down here, okay, man, stock. I hit at everyone. So everybody is going to, you can see faded out here in the background. There's 680 folks. Are you going to be one of the 15 that joins? I already have this position at $10. So this is for new members. Okay. Then I scroll down. I go to my desktop. I grab the image of the trade. Then I grab the image of the other position. So there you go. So right now, 3, 2, 1 just popped up as an alert on Go Collab. You can open that on your phone. You can open it on your desktop. You click on it and go, okay, Wiz. Yeah, okay. You click on that. You see the image. Oh, there's the risk. All right, awesome, Wiz. Thanks. Boom. You can be in death by meeting and you get this alert. Remember, folks, that after I'm done rambling, I'm going to post a replay. You see up at the top here, brief replays. Today, technically, we're in solo Amazon, but since it's a free week, I booted solo Amazon to Wednesday, especially because Amazon earnings are Thursday. So solo Amazon this week will be on Wednesday. So today's the primary live trade brief. I click on primary, and this is where the replay will be posted, right? I scroll down right here. This is where I click to join this brief today, but you click view the replays, and here they are. Last week, folks, what did we do? Boom goes Raytheon. So there you go. The replay's up at the top of the page. Scroll down. There's all the text about what I did in the brief. There's the Raytheon synthetic stock position I would have done last week. Oh, and by the way, JP Morgan. Oh my God, what a great brief last week. And we did an Iron Condor last week. You're welcome. That expired for a max profit. How many of you did the Iron Condor last week on S&P 500? I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. We are Ricky Bobby here, man. We had a great week of trading last week, too. I know you're doing well, Scott. All right, so let me go back to this. Any questions on long-term bullish trade on Definium? Here's my current position. Men lie, trades don't. This is in, I think I have this position in all of my personal accounts. We got Susie trades, my kid, you know, we are, what is that hair club for men? I'm not only the president, I'm a member. I'm not only, use these compounds to help save and change the lives of people, but I trade the shit out of it. That's the win-win, folks. Right? If you can making money is great, but you're not a pharaoh. I hate to break this to you. They're not putting this in your casket to go to the next place, man. You're not a pharaoh. You can't take it with you. So making money is great. Everybody likes a nice house, college funds, you got a nice car. Anything north of that, if you can help save and change lives, That's the win-win. Making money ain't the win, folks. Making money and being bullish on a name that could help people with, say it with me, treatment-resistant depression or GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. Are you kidding me? If you want to be a lifetime member here at Top Gun Options, you get access to investing privately in companies. Many of, I think 25, 30 of us are invested in Demorex using noribogaine, right? For AUD, alcohol use disorder. Gilgamesh came in and bought, whatchamacallit, for, what was it, $900 million. They bought that single compound. God, if you're in a good mood, let's have somebody come in and buy Demorex. Any questions on this position? Okay. Now, Slash, great question. So, folks, let me step. I was going to move on to another trade, but I'm loving the questions here. There is a very wide, it's called a bid ask. Thank you for asking. There's the bid, there's the ask. What is that for all the folks who are kind of new? I want to sell my house for $5 million. That's the ask. I am asking $5 million. Wiz, I'm offering you 750,000. What? So when you go to place this trade, you're never going to get filled at the bid. You will get immediately filled at the ask. Do not do that. Do not, unless you want to get filled on the trade immediately and be down a lot of money. There, I start at the mid. This is called mid-market, right? It's in between the bid and the ask. So I think when I did the new Compass trade last week, I think I got filled immediately at the mid, didn't I? Somebody remind me. So I would start here. I'm going to cover a long-term bullish trade in Raytheon tomorrow, I think, or we're going to do another synthetic stock this week where I'm going to show you where you most likely have to walk it on up. What does that mean? Press to try and get filled right at the mid-market. Press fire and sit there. If you get filled immediately, great. If you don't, go for a walk. What do you mean? Go for a walk. Come back 20 minutes later and go, all right, I'm still not filled. Go up a little bit. How much? I don't know. 10 cents, $1. I don't know. I am telling you that somewhere between here and here, there's a magical place you will get filled. Remember, folks, this is a debit spread. You're going to come out of pocket to do this trade. Somebody on the other side isn't going to fill you and lose money. Like, wow, they want to get filled at that? I'll end up losing just a little bit of money. Sure. This is a debit spread. So 99.9% of the time when you get filled, when you immediately go look at your trade, I remember doing this last week on Compass. I got filled immediately the mid. I went to the trade and it was down like $20. I'm going to warn you, if you're some sort of freak who will freak out about that, click the X in the top right and leave. You're not going to be one of my 15. I think I'm on year 35, right? 30, however many years, 1991. I can't remember if I've ever been filled on this type of trade and went to the trade immediately and it was green. Maybe once. Like I got filled and instantaneously some news happened or something and it went up a little bit. I'm like, wow, it never happens. It's a debit spread. Nobody's going to be on the other side of the trade and go, I'm in a good mood today to eat a little bit. I'll let you have a little bit of, you're going to be negative, period. Everybody understand that, please. I mean, I'm up $200 today on the Compass position, but I forget well, look at it right here. I got my cost, you see that cost basis is 725 and I'm right around 705, right? You know what? Because I want to show you how to be able to join today because I'm only taking 15. But here's what I'm going to do, since I'm a nice guy, is show you my Compass position. I did this last week, folks. So this is a copy paste. You hit your Windows key and print screen, or grab your snipping tool or something like that. I'm in a good mood, so I'm giving you another trade. This is the trade. I'm not done. This is the trade I do today on Compass, but I'm going to sell the front month, or no, I'm already doing it. Never mind. This is the trade I would do today on Compass. I didn't do synthetic stock, right? I just bought 6 Jan 27 $7 calls, right? Last week, this is why it's underwater a little bit, is because Compass was at about $7 last week. It's just under $7 right now. So I bought, for me, 6. You can buy 1,000,000, you can buy 0, you can buy 1. You do what you do. I can't give you any advice. You're getting the eavesdrop on what I'm doing. But last week I bought 6 all the way out into the future. I think that's as far out as we could go with Compass. Let's go look. Compass. And to Werner's point, no, there's the Jan 28s are out. Damn it. Is this a Jan 28? No, I did the, so these just came out too. Look at that. Or no. I'm misspeaking. I need to throttle back. I did the Jan 27s just because of that. The Mind Med I gave more. Let's go look. What was my Mind Med? Definium. Sorry. No. I'm misspeaking. I did Jan 27s, folks, right? Because of the phase 3 approvals. Now I'm back to being centered. Sorry about that. So for me personally, you can do whatever you want. For me personally, with Compass, I did the Jan 27s. Now I'm channeling myself. Okay. Dennis, we'll do one on Raytheon. You got to do one on Raytheon. But folks, here's what I did with Compass. I bought 6 of the 7 calls. I didn't do synthetic stock. I just bought the calls. But I sold this month, the February, 7.5 calls. And I brought in, I only did 3, right? I want 3 to be able to run. 3 times whatever, however many of these calls were. So I lowered my cost basis. Okay. So if you're cheap, take a screenshot of this right now. This is the trade I would do today on Compass. Out bullish calls out to Jan 27 and sold some Feb calls against it. To Werner's point, or whoever said that, listen to me, sit up straight. Remember I told you earlier, sellers have obligations. If I sell, not if, I did, I sold 3 of February 26, 7.5 calls. If you're new to options trading, that contract expires 1, 2, 3. Whenever you see the month and the year, that options contract expires the 3rd Friday of that month. I don't get that. You need to join and watch Options Weapons School training, and you will know all of this. So if by the 3rd Friday of February, Compass is trading above 7.5, I need to close these calls. Why? I just told you. Sellers have obligations. If Compass is trading at $8 by the 3rd Friday of this month, I am obligated to deliver 300 shares at $7.5. I don't have 300 shares. I'm just long the calls. So I will wake up Saturday morning, put on my robe and my bunny slippers, drinking my coffee, and I will be short 300 shares in my account. So again, if you don't understand this, in about 2 minutes, I'm going to show you how to understand this and where to watch the training. We just close them. But I'm going to be happy, folks. What do you mean you're going to be happy if it goes up to 8? I'm long-term bullish on Compass. I don't want it to go up to 8. I want it to go up to 80. Just close the calls, right? I'm selling some front month calls to get this position paid for. But if it rips, I close those calls because they're going to be underwater. But I have 3 of them to run. This is called a ratio spread, folks. I'm long-term bullish on 6. I only sold 3 against them. So I got 3 that can rip. This is SMRT trading. This is the smart way to trade. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Yeah, we're going to do a long-term bullish trade on Raytheon. I put this on 2 weeks ago. It's up 44%, $1,000. I love me some Raytheon. Let's go look at this stock real quick. RTX. Folks, not that you did this because you have a soul. If you got long-term bullish on Raytheon on December 8th, after the savages invaded Israel and the world changed, you are up 190% on the stock. If you did the synthetic stock position, you are up close to 1,000% Raytheon. We will do another long-term bullish trade on Raytheon for all the new folks. Yep, October 8th. Sorry if I said that wrong. Yes, Werner, it means, remember, you sell to open a position. I sold to open those calls out to the third Friday of February. Yay, compass popped. You buy to close them. Sell to open, buy to close. Yes, absolutely. Any questions on that? Any questions on what I presented so far? Isn't this awesome? And again, one more time, let me go, the options weapon school training is worth its weight in gold, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on one second. My phone's buzzing. Who's calling me during a live trade brief? They clearly don't know what they're doing. Brief replays. Okay, let me scroll down here, folks. Options Weapons School. Right there. Okay. Look at Paul, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody look at Paul. Up 500% since June of 25. 8 months, Paul has made 500% in Raytheon. You're welcome. Unbelievable. It's not unbelievable. It's believable. So, ladies and gentlemen, here you welcome aboard. If you're like, man, I kind of follow this guy a little bit. Building block approach. Options Weapon School Session 1 right there, folks. Where does Wiz gather his intelligence? What's the basics of investing? What's his 7-step trade plan that he uses? Options Weapon School Session 1. Folks, I don't even talk about calls or puts until Session Dos. Session 2. This is a call. This is a put. Building block approach, folks. Look at this. Synthetic stock that we just did is Session 6. Options Weapon School 8. Wiz, how did you do that, sniper? I could have made $2,100 on limited risk in what was that, 18 minutes? Yeah, you could have. Go watch Options Weapon School Session number 8. This is why Options Weapon School exists, because I would have been done this brief about 45 minutes ago. We're not in here for an hour. This is way too long because it's open to the public, ladies and gentlemen. I expect you, when you join, to go do your Options Weapon School training. I expect you to download your manuals and start reading and getting up to speed. Folks, this requires a little bit of elbow grease. Man, you don't drive through the gate at Pensacola Naval Air Station and go, I'm going to mail it in. I'm going to coast. I can do whatever I want. Okay, good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, you put in a little bit of elbow grease here and a little bit of work, and you can potentially print money. During the COVID crash, wrote a book about it. I made $2.8 million in almost as many weeks. We turned little old ladies in tennis shoes into millionaires. I got a whole Dropbox folder, COVID crash, with all the case studies and testimonials, man. This is not hard. It ain't super easy or everybody would do it. I'm not that guy out there that's telling you like, oh, everybody could do it. You spend $1 and you'll make $1 million. Come on, man. Pull this leg and it plays jingle bells. But if you put in a little bit of elbow grease, look at all these members that are in here that can tell you like, I don't know anything about trading options, and here I am. My Marine buddies, Shrek. Where's Shrek? Are you in here, Shrek? He could even spell the word option. Probably still can't. And now he's a Jedi, a master and killer. Here's what you're going to do. Let's review Full Throttle, right? Wednesday, I'm going to do solo Amazon because earnings are on Thursday. Okay. I'll brief our separate standalone solo Amazon service on Wednesday. Okay. That's also our cheapest. It's our gateway drug. It's $97 a month and all that. Kathy, I'm a little old lady in tennis shoes, and you know what you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's step through our membership plans. So again, with a trade this morning in 18 minutes, you could have made $2,100. I think the max potential profit was $2,300. If you stay in that trade, most likely into the close, you will make the full 2,300 bucks. So ladies and gentlemen, I think I told you in a video the other day, because look at SPX. It's still ripping. We could have shot that bear sniper. Let's go look. What did I tell you? Bear call spread up here. Could have closed it. Now we're going to hover around 69.75, it looks like. But folks, that bull put spread that I placed here, most likely, if we hover up here today, we'll close for the max profit of, what did I shoot that at? $1.40, $1.45? What was that? $1.45 times 15? 2,200 bucks. Sorry. So ladies and gentlemen, with one trade this morning, I paid for essentially almost the year. First day of Full Throttle. So you get access to our investment club. It's called the Hunters. You get access to essentially everything except solo Amazon. You get access to the options weapons school. You get the manuals. You get the 2 live trade briefs. You get my intelligence, not my intelligence. You don't want to know some of the other stuff going on up here. But this is where 80-90% of current TGO members are. Wiz, yeah, I want to make sure you're not a complete idiot. There's a distinct possibility. I want to try the investment club and this Full Throttle stuff for a couple months. Do the monthly Hunters. As a businessman, I'd love for you to stay in here every month for the rest of your life. It's way too expensive. Don't do that. It's cheap though. 21. I just paid for 4 months of this with that S&P 500 trade. So you got essentially a 4-month test flight for free this morning. Try the monthly Hunters if you're a tire kicker. So these two get you access to the investment clubs. Okay. Now, and my phone is buzzed. I mean, that's 3 people have already joined because they know that this is also on the replay page. So we're already down to, what's that, 12, 11 memberships. If you're a true tire kicker, I don't need the investment club thing right now. I'm still trying to learn a little bit. Do $295. When you're ready to put some real capital at risk, you can upgrade into one of these. So $295 is the kind of continue Full Throttle for a month type of thing. It ain't free, man. This is free. This week is free, but Dennis, Compass and Definium set up an IRA. Thanks, Wiz. You are welcome. Scott, that sniper is at 20 cents. I love it. We shot it at $1.40, $1.45. Okay, so there's the link to join Full Throttle. It's $295 for a tire kicker, $29.95 for the year. That's a 50% discount, folks. If you stay in here for a year, which I'd love you to do, that's kind of dumb. Just do this. Do the annual, $29.95. Again, I'm one of the only, I'm pretty sure I stopped doing secret shopper stuff years ago, going to see what other people doing after I healed with psychedelic assisted therapy. Why? Because I don't care what other people are doing. I used to. But back in the day, nobody does this. You're going to sit through 97 PowerPoint slides of screenshots of trades the guy took probably 20 years ago that were profitable. I just showed you today profitable trades with my own money and my own capital. Not too many people do this. They don't want to risk it. Hell, I've had Full Throttles where I had a bad sniper shot or something went south and more people signed up that week. Why? Because it's the truth. I don't hide any of that stuff. I learn more from my failures than I do my successes. So there you go, David. Started 9 years ago with Wiz, knowing nothing about options. That's awesome, David. Thank you for your longevity, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. All right, the replay page is right here. I'm going to stretch my legs, finish my metrosexual iced coffee in my daughter's cheerleading cup, and go step out in the yard to stretch my legs. Then this will be, because it takes about 10, 20 minutes, 15 minutes for the replay to render on my laptop, and then I'll upload it to here. This is the replay page. That replay will be right up here. I'll put the description of what I did over here today, and then this Full Throttle welcome aboard will slide down to where it says past replays. Okay. If you scroll down, all the Full Throttle stuff is on this page too. You can pick whichever way you want to go. If you want to get into solo Amazon early, it's only 97 bucks, folks. What do we trade in solo Amazon? Who's buried in Grant's tomb? We only trade Amazon. All right. We'll trade a little XLY because it's got a little Amazon in it, but solo Amazon's awesome. We got earnings on Thursday after market close. What's the at the money straddle right now on Amazon? Let's go. Before I let you go, let's go look. Amazon. Holy crap. Nice pop in Amazon today. Like that. Looking good. There's my synthetic stock position. Nice pop out of Amazon. So out to Friday, ladies and gentlemen. All right. February. Oh, no. Oh, I forgot this crap. I hate this. I hate using the word hate. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can trade daily options in. I don't like this. Let's look out to Friday. Wow, look at this. So I'm going to show you, not Uncle Wiz, the options market. What's the options market pricing as far as a move out of Amazon by Friday? $42. You see this Elizabeth Warren TP? The options market is saying it could pop all the way up to 266 or implode to 223. Holy folks, ladies and gentlemen, this is called the at the money straddle. I will teach you this. This is that green part of this TP is what the options market is saying. With a high probability, it'll stay in this range. Wow. 266, 223. Let's go map that out. 266, Amazon. 266, 223. That is a huge at the money straddle. Whoa. Let's go 6 month. 266. So ladies and gentlemen, that's 266 is higher than the last earnings all the way up here. 223 would be an implosion to the 200-day. So look at that. The options market is pricing in that type of move. I'm going to show you a trade on Wednesday that's going to make money if it stays in that range. You don't have to be right. You could I don't know what Amazon's going to do on earnings. I don't know if it's going to rip or implode. Guess what? You can make money on, I don't know what it's going to do. As I call it a football trade. As long as it stays in bounds, the trade I'm going to show you on Wednesday will make money. I love making money on not knowing something. Isn't that awesome? That's a wide at the money straddle, folks. And that makes sense because look what happened with the last earnings. Rip. Uh-oh, AI freak out. And then back to the middle. Earnings can be gambling, folks. I don't like to gamble. So let's trade instead. Joe, I'm a former Top Gun and can affirm Wiz is the real deal. I had to take a break from membership due to my PTSD getting out of control. God bless you. But I look forward to the day I can come back and renew my membership. Thank you, Joe. And you let me know if I can be of service. If you need a little help, we just launched our Sacramento microdoses, Joe. So thank God you're here with us. And never forget, Joe, God does not make imperfect things. You are perfect the way you are, my brother. Right? We might think we're broken. We might feel broken. We might think we look broken. You are perfect, my brother. I guarantee you. We just need to be reminded of that sometimes. So thank you, Joe. Thank you for your kind words. And thanks for being here, man. Thanks for showing up. Love you, man. Okay. Any other questions, concerns, smart remarks? Keep them to yourself. Day one, full throttle in the books, $2,200 in profit, potentially in a sniper shot. You're welcome. Essentially paid for a year of membership or 4 months of the hunters. And I'm excited. Only 2 days left. There's 4. That's 4 memberships that are gone. So you got 11. You got 11 people to go if you don't join. All right, guys, I got to get going. Have a great rest of your day. Very happy that you joined us today. Fights on. Namaste. And Basi, which means truth. Basi. Wiz out. I'll see you guys tomorrow.